rollerblading has some stunning tricks, some absolute 10 out of 10 lookers. Not all tricks are created equal. There are some tricks that deserve 10 in the pen, and others that are pure wet packet ham. Disgusting! Today we're going to rank illegal rollerblading tricks.
All the stunts are performed by professionals. Do not attempt this yourself.
Before we get tucked into it, if you want to support me, you can give us a like, you can become a member of this channel for $2.99 a month. I've also got merch and a Patreon with exclusive videos. Cheers! Method air. The first thing I think about when people say or do method airs is people getting ripped off of docks water skiing when the driver just goes full turbo and the person's body ends up bending in half backwards. That's what a method air looks like. It looks like you've been ripped off a dock by a speedboat. It's a bit like Michael Jackson, Earth Song. Ow! Like you can imagine it like going to watch Grease or something and somebody jumping off a car bonnet and going, woo! That's what it looks like. And I know like, it's fun, but the reason why it's fun is because it's completely silly. That one's, you're getting 10 in the pen.
Lock him up!
Austin Powers actually said, I died laughing thinking about somebody doing a fakey 360 method on a street cap. Yeah, exactly, man. Just imagine it. Imagine how mad that looks. Hot dogs.
What's up, you fucking hot dog?
Hot dogging a ledge or a rail. Call it a hot dog because it looks like a hot dog. You are the stale bun and the obstacle is processed meat. You're just wrapping your legs around that thing, man. Oh my goodness, super fun. And I think that's like maybe part of the crack with a lot of the illegal tricks. Like, they are fun, but they're just kind of a little bit easy. Even complete wizards at him, even complete beasts at him, like Huygen anyway. He's got all the hot dogs, all the technical hot dogs, like he's got a stand in Piccadilly Circus or something, Trafalgar Square, just dishing out all kinds of hot dogs, mate. Pigeon, seagull, rat hot dogs. He's got them all, but like, even him doing them, they still don't, I'm not convinced still. They're still illegal, right? Still completely illegal, no matter how fun they are. So the hot dogs, it's a fairly heinous crime, right? That's a class B. It's only good, if you're doing those on a regular basis, that's only going to lead to class A, isn't it? It's only going to lead to harder stuff. Acid Royale, you know when one foot's in a backside Royale and one foot's in a front side Royale, like you've had a short circuit. It looks like a corrupted GIF, man. It's all like glitchy, like something's gone completely wrong. It's kind of like, you know, when your mum leaves and your dad's in charge. Ooh, things are not going to go quite as they should do. It's going to be fun, but it's not going to be quite right. You know that feeling when you're going for like a top acid and you don't get the top side foot and it kind of slips and you're like, oh, and your heart kind of sinks and you're like, oh my goodness, it feels a bit like turbulence, like, oh. That's what this grind feels like, even if you do it properly. It doesn't feel good and it looks completely heinous. So that is a class, that's a class A. That is the hard stuff.
Just put it in the bin over there.
Related to that one is the Byn Soul. So whereas the Acid Soul is, sometimes called the Dark Slide, that one's a bit open. That's a bit like Flasher Mac. That's a bit of a pervert running through the parade park while you're trying to play a game of World Cup doubles and like flashing, like all open. Whereas the Byn Soul is like closed together. So is it like back torque and then a front side front foot? And it's a little bit more like tucked in and like a little bit neater presented. But it's, still think it's a class B. Jeff Stockwell used to do a really good Byn Soul. What's it called though? When you do like one backside torque and then one frontside torque foot. Like, has that got a name? I'm sure I've seen people doing it. It should be called like Gorilla Knuckles or something like that. Rest in peace, Jambo, my favourite Western silverback gorilla. And he actually saved a kid once and everything. Incredible gorilla, man. Thinking about those tricks, they're just like poor spin-offs, aren't they? They're like, you know, when the franchise does like prequels and stuff and you're like, this is rubbish, man. Stick to the originals. Royale. Amazing, perfect. Back Royale, back Nugan, front Nugan. Way better. The spin-offs are always naff. Like, related to these is Tabernacles.
What is that?
I just can't get past the feeling that you look like a banana skin. It just looks a bit nutty. They are absolutely amazing for games of skate, as demonstrated by Jeff Stockwell. Yes! And he picked that because he knows it's a ridiculous trick that people aren't really doing. I just feel like it's a trick that was meant for soap shoes. And that's the only thing you should really be doing it on. But imagine doing it on like a kink trail. Or a disaster to it. Oh my goodness, that would blow my mind.
Don't be stupid.
That's class A. That's naughty stuff, that is.
Naughty boy.
Sidewalks. Now, John Julio, the inventor of this, has been forgiven for this monstrosity, for all that he's done for the community. He's done a fair bit of community service. He's served his time, so I think he's been forgiven that. I mean, he is the prez after all. But the trick is still completely criminal. Like, we used to call it a dustbuster because it was just so much of you like on the rail and spread out all over the place. I heard it was inspired by like somebody who unfolded a paperclip and they were like, this is a good shape, or like a coat hanger. That's what you look like. You look like a coat hanger when you're doing it. You know that scene from one of the Indiana Jones films where he's like the penitent man, and he's got to like know when to bend and kneel at the right time. That's what it's like. It looks like somebody doing a curtsy. That's not very like, I don't know, aggressive rollerblading, curtsying down a rail. It do look fun though. I'm afraid it's still a criminal act. I'm actually thinking it's class A. Toe rolls and heel rolls. Now, I don't think these are illegal at all, but people want to see them have their day in court.
See you in court.
Well, I'm just chucking it out straight away. I think they're completely fine. I understand that like what's happened is some people have seen really, really sloppy ones. Some people have seen them do them like shaking, shitting dogs, you know, like they're wobbling all over the place. Gav Drum posted a ridiculously funny video of doing like the pigeon neck, mate. That's what they've seen. They've seen too many people doing that pigeon neck thing and they're thinking, these are absolutely awful. These are a joke of a trick. But, you know, they've been through a journey. I reckon if you would have done it in the early 2000s, that would have been some decent jail time. But things have progressed. People do them way better. They're so good at them. I think they're integral to rollerblading now. So they're definitely going S tier, top of the tier. No longer illegal at all, just a standard trick. The people who don't like them definitely drink WKD Blue and like drive around car parks at night. Double toe rolls, I just think they're too easy. Like if you're wizard skating, yeah, it looks unbelievable and that's like a legit move within wizard skating. On the ags, I'm a bit like, I don't know. People do them in good ways. And I think like the double toes fakie, double heels forward and fakie look pretty good. Maybe they're going to go legalise. Because I think soon enough, like that'll just be a legit thing. But they are very easy. No, it's going C because it's like having stabilise on us. The difference is though, is the double forward toe. Oh, I'm really not sure about that. And like, I know it's a bit more of a violation, but when people do double toes going forward and their feet aren't aligned together, you look like a startled cat that's gone up on its legs. Like, it just looks, I don't know, it's such a silly trick to be going like on your tiptoes, like, I don't know, it's a bit racing car driver kind of move. Fair enough if you're a kid and you're doing it, yeah, you crack on mate, enjoy it, but it's class B. No, actually, it's class A because it's awful. If you are going to do them, be aware of shopping trolley wheel because that will hurtle you like you've been shot out of a cannon. You know, speed wobbles, oh my goodness. I'm not consistent though because toe slides and heel slides I actually think are cool. I haven't even done a thing for them, but they would be class C. I have to be reasonable. I want to put them in S, but they are class C. They're definitely like a gateway illegal trick to other things, but soon enough they'll be legalised. Citric Acid. Now if a grind starts to look like you're playing Twister, I think that's when you need to question it. Like, rollerblading can look goofy quite easily, and this leaned into it hard. Maybe I'm the problem here, and I should embrace it more, but it's the reach around of grinds. Kind of just reminds me of people using the rest in pool for some reason, and it's ugly. Like a lot of these illegal tricks. They're quite ugly. They're not exactly nice to look at.
Take it away.
Channel grinds, wet packet ham.
That's nasty.
Complete abomination of a trick, man. It's just different for being different sake. Like, you've got a front side there, you're like, nah, I'm different. I'm going to do a channel grind. Oh, come on, man. It makes me feel like when somebody gets polished iron and like rubs it together and that horrible like squeaking noise that goes through you, or when somebody like runs their hands down the blackboard. Oh, it just doesn't make me feel good even seeing that trick. It's kind of like, you know, when you make plans with your mates and then there's that one person who has to be like awkward and like for whatever reason can't do what you're doing, so everybody has to change their plans. Yeah, That's a channel grind, mate. It's like, oh, I can't come swimming, I've got a verruca. Whatever, just get one of them socks on it, get in the pool, do a front slide. Have you ever seen a contortionist put themselves through a tennis racket? Welcome to the circus of negative topside grinds. Like, it's an absolute freak show, man. But, you know, not all tricks are created equal, so it's a sliding scale. Negative top acids, I actually kind of think are all right. I think it's pretty much due to like Chris Farmer's hard work and dedication to the trick. If Chris Farmer's doing it, it's S tier for sure. I think it's fine. Anybody else doing it and it's just the girl climbing out of the TV on the ring, man, it's horrifying. It's not one to mess with. Do you know what I also respect about Farmer? I'm pretty sure he got loads of grief for doing it as well, and he was just like, smell my leather, you lizards.
Beautiful leather. Feel it. Smell it.
I'm going to continue to do this until I've made it look brilliant. So actually, it's going to go... I kind of want to put it in legalised, but I think there'll be an uproar.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Negative top mistrial, I think, is one of the best looking negative topside tricks, because you can get like low and tucked into it. And I actually don't think people go properly topside when they're doing it on rails. It's more like a far side. But it's just such a good position. Like, you don't need to over egg it. That's like, you know, getting to the end of the night, it's coming up to 2. Maybe it's already gone past 2. The bar's actually closing and you go, yeah, I'll have 5 Jaeger bombs. You're like, what? You have absolutely blown it. You're going to feel great for about 10 minutes and then come 2:30, you are on another planet. So yeah, don't over egg the negative top mistrials. I think they're still a class C though, aren't they? They're still people are still not quite with them. Maybe soon though. What isn't class C and what is on the other end of the scale is negative top souls, negative Kindgrinds, and negative sweatstances. They are all the epitome of wet packing. They're monstrous. They're heinous. They're just heinous tricks. Why would you do them? And then top negs on ledges. I don't even understand how people do them at all. You look like a sack of potatoes. That's what you look like. It's just a complete mess. It looks like somebody's dropped spaghetti off a building. Although the get out of jail free card is Tree Rudolph. He has got a gift for these tricks. And I don't think anybody should get in his way. I don't think the law should stand in the way of this man exploring the limitations of what is possible on rollerblades when you own no knee cartilage. You could have an exhibition in that Ripley's Believe It or Not. Top negative Sunny and top negative Citric Acid.
Why would you do that?
Have you ever had one of those tents that, you know, you just like, it just springs up, you just open it and it springs and it's fully formed and you just peg it down. But you know, you've got to like bend it back together in this like bizarre way so you like go into a really small circle and go back into it like it's packet. That's like what you have to be like to get into this grind. Like a folding tent that's going to be packed away. It's just, the thing is though, I've got to give credit for anybody who tries this trick because it's completely outrageous. I actually think there's only one person that can even do these tricks, maybe 2. I think Jimmy Sits, I'm sure I've seen him do these tricks. So I've got to give respect to him. If you're the only person that's doing them and can do them, respect, you get immunity. But anybody else trying this trick, you are wet packet ham. Handstands. Now I feel like this is a good time to repeat this. If you're a kid, yeah, absolutely feel free to do handstands. I actively encourage actually. Your mates will probably think it's dead good because it looks like acrobatic. Your parents might think it's good because you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that in the Olympics. Everybody's doing handstands. If you're doing it on the skates, maybe you'll win a gold one day or something like that. So they might be quite keen as well. And it is mega fun. If you're an adult though, I think you need to pack it in. You know when people do handstands, like 1, when they're kids, 2, when they're at the gym, Olympics, and when they're drunk at parties trying to show off.
One thing that people don't realize is really important during a handstand position is the fingers.
Don't be that person. You're not drunk at the skate park. Well, I assume you're not. If you're trying to learn an invert, which is the most underrated trick in the whole world, fair enough. Like if it helps you to start with handstands. If you're not learning to do it, come on, man. There's just a million other things you can do. If no one else is in the skate park though, definitely do a handstand. Do it really quickly before anybody comes. Just get it out of your system. I think I might actually try a handstand the next time I go skating. Negative souls. If you do negative souls, you definitely smoke vapes. You can't handle the real stuff, so you're just being different. Again, just being different for different sake. It's definitely a class B. I kind of think handstands are class B as well, actually. They're getting demoted. Negative Mizou. Again, people who smoke vapes, but this time also drink Monster Energy. I think it's class B, really. I'm going to move Negative Mistrail to legalise as well. Just feeling generous. I feel like it's going that way anyway. Negative Mistrails have been a complete success story, reintroduced back into society from previously being like 10 in the pen, going down through all the class systems. Now they're a like upstanding member of society. I'd say the Negative Mistrail. I'm going to say S. It's already been legalised. It's S tier now. Beautiful trick, actually. Kongs. Now that's a parkour move, but this like represents like using your hands in general, where their skates kind of become redundant. So like not inverts and like hand slides, where like that's a single hand and you're actually like relying on the skate to play a big part in the trick. But like parkour style stuff, because isn't the point in rollerblading using the rollerblade more? Like at what point does it stop being rollerblading? I mean, like if you wear skates and do like the monkey bars mid trick, is that like is that like count as part of the trick? Or like you start making a sandwich because you've got your rollerblades on, that's a rollerblading trick? Do you put your skates on to take advantage of the actual skates and use them heavily? Or do you put the skates on just as an extension of yourself and of self-expression? I mean, that was pretty deep. Like, I think the core of skating is using the skate more. And like generally it's harder when you're kind of just relying on the skate and not like all of your limbs to be able to do all this other stuff. But like, you know, shout out to the people who are actually doing them and exploring the boundaries of this and like blurring the lines for what skating actually is. But and it definitely is difficult doing Kongs, but it's a class B. It's definitely a class B, but I'm pretty sure things will change soon. Step downs. As much as I actually enjoy doing them, they're illegal, aren't they? You're stepping out of a trick. That is easy. That is so easy to do it. I think people are doing some really mad stuff with them now, like Michael Kraft and stuff like that, and Basement Boys, the Calsos have adopted them really well. I've seen some other like good moves from people as well. So it's definitely an interesting tip, but it's definitely illegal still. It's definitely illegal. It's just, I mean, if you start to do step downs, you're gonna start doing other things, aren't you? If you're doing step downs, before you know it, you end up doing hot dogs and negative souls.
There's no way back for him.
And then it just turns into a complete circus. So step downs are class C because I think they've got potential. Lots of potential actually, but they're still illegal. You're still stepping out of a trick. Rough anything like rough Mizou, like it's just a racing car pajamas of grinds, isn't it? You're an adult, but you have racing car pajamas, you have a little bed that looks like a racing car, and you skate like you are a racing car. It's just a little bit childish and a little bit too easy. So I think that's going like 10 in the pen. And it's the same with tough anything as well. Like, just think it's just a little bit silly, man. Like, you're an adult, racing car pajamas, but this time you've got bunk beds. I love wheelbarrows. It's well easy, and that's what, I mean, a lot of these illegal tricks are easy, and they're fun. Really, really fun, but they're still illegal. And the thing is, I think everybody's aware of, like, the legal status of the wheelbarrow, so that's why you don't see it that often.
Respecting the law, respecting the law.
But I've seen people doing really well, and I love them. And I really do want to put them in S, but I just can't do that. The class C, because if you do them loads, then you'll be like, oh, I love them, but you know, I'm doing them too much, like I can't do one again. What am I going to do to get my kicks? Next thing you know, you're doing a handstand, and then it just like spirals out of control. Double toes going forwards, then you're doing rough grinds, and then before you know it, you're thinking, yeah, I'm a channel grinder. That's what I like doing. Pass me that vape pen. 9 bars. I love them. I love them like I love the wheelbarrow. I used to think they were class, and I still think they're class now. People don't do them that often, so they are a rare one. So they're nice to throw out. They're still definitely illegal though, aren't they? Because they're definitely easy. They're definitely relatively easy, and they do look kind of ugly. I've seen people make them look good. It's gonna have to go in there, I'm afraid. I think Fishbrains are one of the best looking tricks. If you do them well and stylish, they are absolutely stunning. Take a picture of them, like put them in a little pendant and wear it around your neck. That kind of stunning. Background on your phone, screensaver, lock screen, Fishbrain. But the rough Fishbrain, the rough Macchio.
That's awful. Just awful.
Absolutely bog. Trifle, mate. No, it's the bog from Train Spotting. That's what they're like. I actually think they're better than rough anything or tough anything, just because they're harder. They're simply harder to do. So you've got to give a little bit of credit to the people who do them, because they're hard. And if you're willing to do something that's hard, also not attractive, and you're probably not going to really get credit for, you've kind of got to give them credit for that, for their sheer determination to jump into ugly. Class B is definitely like, do you know what? Kongs are going Class A. Changed my mind on that one. Flips into grinds. Now I don't know if people consider these illegal, but I do, because it's a bit too much like gymnastics. And I feel like a lot of the time, maybe it's just because when people are doing them, they are so sketchy. It just looks so hit and miss. It kind of looks like, even though it requires unbelievable skill to be able to do it, to be able to do the flip in the first place, and then the grind, like, it just feels like it's fluked all the time. It's like when people do those trick shots and like you actually see how many goes it took them, like somebody standing there for like the whole day throwing like Xbox games and trying to get it in their Xbox or something like that. You think that's just pure luck. That's just pure luck. Again, I guess you've got to credit the determination, but these just look too sketchy for me at the moment. It feels a bit far removed from street skating, you know, just like flipping all over the place. I don't know, if there were, if people normalised it and it was like happening more often, it was more controlled, you'd be like, yeah, that's just the crack now. We're just like super athletes. But I kind of think it's actually Class B. Like, it's definitely not Class C. Yeah, Class B. If you can do them well, if you landed them, stuff me, like, you're S tier, aren't you? Because you can actually do them. I can't do that. It's all just very Cirque du Soleil, and I just think, if we keep going down that route, soon we'll be wearing like big red noses and like painting our faces and stuff like that, and squeezing water out of flowers on our tops. This is one of the most illegal things I've ever seen. That is it. There was actually some more, but this thing was getting out of hand, man. There was way too many of them. If you do illegal tricks, own it, enjoy it, and just like do them enough that you make them look really good, and everybody's like, that's definitely not an illegal trick anymore. Legalise, start the campaigns, get the retrials going, reappeal your sentence to do 10 in the pen. You don't want to be wet packet ham anymore. This is a legit trick. A lot of these illegal tricks feel like they're unique to rollerblading as well, which is great, you know. Rollerblade centric tricks is what separates us from everybody else. Be wild, be free. Rollerblade. Shout out to my patrons for helping support me. Your name's up on screen. You can join them from as little as £3 a month. Sneak peeks, exclusive videos, all that kind of stuff. Here's a couple of videos that YouTube's recommending for you. Check them out. Spotty Dog.